a lone American production facility in Fremont, California,
I love it.
which drew an FU from Lorena Gonzalez, a California Assemblywoman, the one who introduced the anti-gig economy legislation that's destroying employment opportunities in companies like Uber and Lyft in
Well, she's on
California.
a roll.
Mad Dog Jim Cramer had this comment on Elon Musk's Tank Man moment.
I think he is correct in thinking that the whole thrust of this country is to put people to work. Why do we presume that he can't do it in a fashion that's safe? I do not know. I mean, this is not Tyson, okay? This is not Smithfield. And why do we think this man necessarily is going to put people at risk? When I look at my Twitter column, there are two kinds of people. There are people who think that he's the greatest, and people who think that he's willing to sacrifice people on the altar of profit. Now, he may not be as concerned about COVID as every person in the world, but there's no indication that he's willing to sacrifice people's lives. Why can't they make a deal? I don't understand this. It's time to open up that factory, and I think he's dead right. I don't want to violate the law, but come on. This is... Do we not want this factory open? Secretary Mnuchin wants it open.
Against that backdrop, Washington Post story, economists project more than 100,000 small businesses have shut permanently since the pandemic escalated in March, according to a study by researchers at University of Illinois, Harvard Business School, Harvard, and the University of Chicago. The latest data suggests at least 2% of small businesses are gone. This from a survey conducted May 9th to the 11th. You're fundamentally altering the landscape of economic opportunity in this country. That is no small thing. For more on the topic, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Steve Moore, Wall Street Journal columnist and author of Trumponomics. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys.
What do you think about Elon Musk and Jim Cramer's review of Elon Musk give people their GD freedom back?
Well, look, I think that Elon Musk should move to a very business-friendly state, maybe like Illinois.
Yeah, right. He's thinking more like Nevada or Texas, I understand.
I mean, look, this is a continuation. What you're seeing is we've talked for years on this show about the migration of businesses and economic activity out of blue states like Illinois and California and New York to red states like Tennessee and Texas and Florida. And it's indisputable that this is happening, and now it's going to accelerate. And I believe in federalism. I believe people of Illinois deserve the government that they want. I really do. Now, the fact that you've got a dingbat governor and a governor who's trying to allow these businesses to fail. By the way, that's the most absurd study I ever heard that you just cited. 2% of small businesses, it's not 2%. It's probably 32%. About 1 in 3 small businesses will fail if we don't get this economy open quickly. There's no question about it. I mean, I get calls every day from people. I mean, they say 100,000 small businesses are going to fail. It's going to be millions of small businesses are going to fail. That study is ridiculous. But look, you are going to see Elon Musk should just do what he's threatening to do: move out of California with its 12% income tax, with its anti-business policies, and move to Texas and build a plant in Austin or Dallas or Houston or San Antonio, and he can produce those cars, and he can do it at probably saving 1/3 the cost of doing so. And so these states like California and Illinois that are staying shut down, they're doing it at their own economic peril and impoverishing their own citizens.
Well, do you have President Trump's ear to talk to him about this? You and Kudlow and everyone.
Well, the big deal right now, I mean, I haven't talked to him in a couple of weeks, but I am on his economic task force. Excuse me, I do talk to his economic deputies all the time. And right now, the big story is Nancy Pelosi basically issued a declaration of war yesterday against the Republicans. And this is going to be World War Z, guys, what you're going to see over the next few weeks. She came out with the most preposterous proposal. I've been watching it a long, long time. I've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, it's right out of the Rahm Emanuel playbook that a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. Ladies and gentlemen, the liberal Democrats in Washington, and that's become kind of a redundancy to call them liberal Democrats, are now basically officially using this health emergency as an excuse to pass every single crazy liberal idea they've wanted to spend money on for the last 25 years. By the way, even Bernie Sanders probably would have never imagined a package like this. It is a giveaway to every left-wing interest group across America, $3 trillion on top of the $3 trillion we've already spent. If Republicans were to agree to one iota of this, I am going to burn up my Republican National Committee card and never be a member of that party. The Republicans have to not just say no to this, but hell no. We spent $3 trillion. We're not going to get out of this crisis by continuing to spend money that we don't have. The only way to get out of the crisis is to open up the damn economy.
So you're against the bill entirely? I mean, she did sneak in
Oh,
hate
it's
crime reform and environmental justice grants.
Well, okay, I'm in favor of that.
What does even hate crime reform mean? Environmental justice grants. What is nonsense?
My favorite.
I mean,
What's in there?
who cares what's in there? That's not the point. What's in there is not the point. The point is, will Republicans, meet her 20% of the way even? Because if they do that,
of course they will.
And that's the problem. It's not what's in there. It's what Republicans are willing to concede.
You're exactly right. And by the way, I am in favor of those environmental justice grants. I'm just kidding. But, yes. How about they want to bring back the state and local tax deduction, which, ladies and gentlemen, that would be the biggest tax cut for the top 1% in the history of the United States. Like half of the revenues from that go to the Pritzkers of the world, the millionaires and billionaires. But anyway, I think you're right, Dan. I mean, look, Democrats may be evil, but they're not stupid, and they realize, hey, we'll ask for $3 trillion, and then we'll bargain with the Republican leaders, and we'll end up with $2 trillion. And the Republicans say, see, we saved $1 trillion. The Republicans have to say hell no to this. They have to say not a dime more spending. We've already spent $3 trillion. We ought to do a payroll tax suspension. Just take away this payroll tax for people. If you want to spend money, put the money right in the hands of the people, the workers and the businesses. Why give it to politicians and why give it to mayors and governors? But this is a big, big, big moment. It really is. Republicans have to be totally contemptuous of this. They have to attack it. Trump has to say we're going to go in a completely opposite direction. And in fact, if I were Trump, I would not negotiate with Pelosi. I'd simply lay this out to the American people and say, these are the choices we're going to have in the fall, folks. If you want the left, they're going to spend us into oblivion. Or if you want a pro-business policy that gets Americans back on the job, here's our agenda. And just lay it out. I think Pelosi really overplayed her hand yesterday.
Well, if you get that sort of response, in fact, I would even refine that response a little bit more and make it sort of a Henry Hazlitt moment for Republicans, a simple economics lesson, which is, look, they believe that America's recovery comes through government. We believe that America's recovery comes through energizing the private sector and the job creators. That's the choice. And so we're going to pursue policies consistent with that philosophy, and they're going to say, give money, everything is all, and the press is all about the lost revenues of state and local governments and the problems that state and local governments have. Too bad, so sad. State and local governments have seen no unemployment, and the private sector economy has seen 33 million first-time unemployment filers in the last 6 weeks. Where do you think our priority should be? This is not complicated.
So, Dan, you write that down. I mean, that's exactly the speech that Donald Trump should. And you wrote it. You said it very eloquently. I couldn't even say it as well as that. You're exactly right. That's precisely what Trump should say. Is we believe in the free enterprise system. We believe in private workers and private businesses and entrepreneurs who build our economy. They believe the way to build our economy is by massively growing the government, and that is a total conflict of visions. And God forbid the American people actually want that alternative. Sometimes I wonder. But the fact is that is the ideological difference that has emerged between these two parties. And I'm going to get the tape of what you just said and write it all down because it's absolutely perfect. And that's exactly what Mitch McConnell should be saying and what Donald Trump should be saying and Larry Kudlow should be saying. And all of these Republicans should just say, this is the biggest sham ever. And if we pass this, we're going to bankrupt our country and we're going to destroy every business in America. Why is it that they care more about the local governments than they do the businesses that fund the local governments?
By the way, conflict of visions, you just mentioned that phrase, great Thomas Sowell book. Nicely done, nicely
Yep.
woven in there.
Yep.
Hey, let me ask you this. Are you worried at all about deflationary pressure on the economy and the prospect of that a deflationary spiral is a threat?
It's funny you should ask that. I just wrote my column on that. Yeah, I think the big evil in the economy, other than Nancy Pelosi's massive spending binge. And by the way, just to be fair, up till now, the spending binge has been bipartisan, right? I mean, so I don't want to. I mean, up until now, every bill has passed almost unanimously with every Republican and Democrat. What I'm saying is this is where the Republicans have to draw the line, say no more. Now, deflation is here. It is severe. It is the other big problem with the economy. And this means the Fed needs to put more dollar liquidity in the economy because prices fell again last month. This is the third month in a row. Prices have been falling. Commodity prices are down about 35% this year. That's enormous. That's why oil producers are going out of business. Farmers are struggling. Yeah, we need to. And people are probably wondering, gee, is Steve more crazy? I mean, all the Fed has been doing is putting dollar liquidity in the economy. And how can we have falling prices? Number one, we just do. It's a fact. But number two, the reason we have these falling prices, anytime you have a crisis like this, whether it's a terrorist attack or a war or a massive natural disaster, the first thing everyone around the world does is they rush to dollars. And that's what they've been doing in the trillions of dollars. People all over the world are demanding dollars. They're cashing out their bank accounts. They want dollars, dollars, dollars. And that has caused a rush on the dollar. And if the Fed doesn't accommodate that by putting dollars out there, then you're going to have a deflation that's going to make things much worse. People forget that one of the major causes of what made the Great Depression so severe and so long-standing, in addition to the New Deal, which obviously was a massive failure, was that we had deflation in that environment. But deflation shrinks the economy. So yes, you're exactly right, Dan. It's a big problem.
So and just so people get this, not steeped in. Prices decline, lower production, lower wages and demand, further decreases in price level. You create this positive feedback loop that feeds on itself.
That's exactly right. And what happens is when you get a shrinkage of demand of prices, what happens is that real wages actually rise when you have prices fall. And that means labor is more expensive. So what do employers do? They have to lay off workers. So that's the negative cycle that you create with deflation. What we want as free marketeers is a stable dollar. I don't want inflation. I lived through the 70s, but I don't want deflation either. I want the dollar to remain stable, and it's not right now. It's falling. The dollar is rising, but the prices in the economy are falling, and that's really killing businesses.
And the other thing it does, which is a big problem, is increase the real value of debt.
Yep. You're exactly right. So I'm so glad you asked me about this because I'll have a piece in the Financial Times tomorrow exactly on this subject, so people should look it up. And we have put a lot of dollar liquidity in the economy. We've got we've got the interest rates close to zero already, and we've got the balance sheet is rising, but it's not happening enough. And you just have to stop this. And one way to do that is to give people a payroll tax cut and get the money into the economy and get it right into the hands of the people that will spend it and use it to build businesses. But the way not to do it is to give it to government.
In one of those Financial Times columns, I don't know if there's time for this one, maybe the next one, maybe get a little shout out in there. My favorite non-credentialed economist is Dan Proft. How about a little shout out?
Yeah. I mean, you had it exactly right. And I'm on that economic task force. The president.
Can you get me a T-shirt or a hat from the Economic Task Force?
I have a friend who's on the Economic Task Force.
I'm on that, and you know who's on that with me is Elon Musk, and I'm going to call him. They say, I know the perfect state for you to move to. They love business. They're low tax and they're low regulation. Illinois, move to Illinois.
Right, and you'll laugh and laugh and laugh. Steve Moore, economist, Wall Street Journal columnist, author of Trumponomics. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Changing the world one life at a time.
I do have more energy, and it's not like energy that is like a caffeine high energy. But